Cancer, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early to mid November 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Cancer Collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic. Let's get it going here. My guide spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these lovely Cancers in early to mid-November? What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Cancer early to mid-November. What's the vibe? Let's get this card. Oh, before I even finished speaking, the card popped out. Okay, I saw this for, I think, one of the fire signs, and I really like this card quite a bit because it reminds me of the pages within the tarot deck. This one's more of like a Page of Cups, Page of Pentacles combination platter. So I like the energy normally that these cards hold. They're like really great. They're fresh. They're new. It's good for perspective. And before we fully dive into it, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the November subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk about it. So we see this young looking individual in this image. They have like a lute or some sort of instrument. Notice that there's a rainbow coming out of it, so the creative juices are flowing, very expressive, little yin yang on the top of their head, so that's great. I do see creative juices always flowing for the water sign, so this could be spirits and like, hey, Cancer, maybe if you're feeling some deep things, you might need some outlet to push this energy into. So whether it is a creative pursuit, art, writing, it could be anything really, as long as you're pushing that energy outwards. It could be a hobby. But the thing I love about pages is they're students and they're messengers. So a big thing with this page, of course, is learning new things. You might have a thirst for new information, new topics, new ways of viewing stuff. So that's great. That could come up for a lot of you in this time. Could really connect to communication as well if we put all that other stuff to the side. So again, whether it's one that you want to have or one that's coming in, we'll take a look at it. But I just love this energy because it feels fresh. So we're just going to put it down right there. Now would be a great time to try your hand at some new stuff too. But we're going to let that page chill. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Cancer. What do we got in early to mid-November? And while we get this shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. So it was titled A Massive Win because the overall theme and energy I was picking up was positive. But to me, it started beautifully. We had like the Ten of Cups and the Lovers, but towards the end, it got to the Three of Swords. So to me, it was like a mixed bag of energy, but it leaned positive. So I hope you did have a win. I always say that wins, victories, they come in all different shapes and sizes. Okay, so whether it's financial, whether it is relationships, there's a lot of different ways that energy could swing for you. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Cancer. What do we have in early to mid-November for my good friends? Thank you. Queen of Wands, cool. So something about confidence, self-confidence. All right. That's what I always say with her. I like the Queen of Wands. She's one of my favorite cards, but we're just going to put her down right there. Let's get a couple more. Thank you. 10 of Wands. Lots of fire for some reason. Okay. A little heavy. Let's get one more out here, and we'll start piecing it together. Okay. Ah, all right. I do link this card to Pisces, but I also link it to all water signs. I feel like the High Priestess could be a power card for you. So we have an interesting give and go of energy because there's a lot of fire, but then your power elements here as well. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first, at first glance, you know, I always like to look at the elements. I feel like they're important. It tells us how the energy is moving. And there is an overabundance of fire energy in your spread this week. Now, for water signs, too much fire could be a little uncomfortable, but it doesn't have to be, right? Like with the Queen of Wands and the Ten of Wands, to me, fire is the realm of actions. So whether it's actions that we take, actions other people take, actions that we want to take, It's your internal combustion engine too. So it's like your energy, your motivation, your get up and go, your drive. There's a lot of passion in this suit, which I really do like about it. But the downside to too much fire, sometimes it could be a little confrontational. Sometimes it can represent anger. Sometimes there's an unpredictability to it. There's a volatility where it's like, okay, it could go this way or it could go that way. I guess it depends on the hour. So we're going to want to look at this much further. Normally, fires like outside circumstances, outside actions, not necessarily internal. But then when we get to the back end, we have water, which is your power element. Now, normally I love water, especially in a Cancer reading, because it represents the realm of feelings, emotions, the dream state, psychic energy. It could represent personal relationships and intuition. So that's a huge thing, especially here. So it's like we have the outworld actions, and then we have deep internal intensity with the high priestess on the back end. So we're going to need to dig into this much deeper with the way it's showing because they're two extremes. So let's start going through and building this out piece by piece. Position number one, the Queen of Wands. Now, as I already mentioned, that could be a fire sign. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, if you don't have any fire placements yourself. Queens don't necessarily always have to be a person. I always say they represent the internal aspect of the suit. So we went into some pretty good depth about what the wands, the fire, represent. To me, as I mentioned when she first popped out to me, she's a huge card of self confidence. Now, sometimes when she shows up, you might be feeling on top of the world, or your confidence could be rising. You could start feeling good about yourself, refreshed, invigorated type of energy, which could really be great. But this energy can also swing. Now, this card also represents appearances, how things are seen or how they're perceived. So maybe you're changing something about your look, right? Maybe it's a new wardrobe, new hair, or something about fitness. It's like the way I present myself to the world is different when I see this Queen of Wands, and there's a confidence to it. But I would just say watch out for hits to self confidence or not feeling very confident. That's the downside to her because it's like, well, I should feel confident about something, but I'm not. Like that's the thing. So we'll look at her and see what's up. Again, it doesn't have to be a bad thing whenever we see her. Now, moving to the middle, we do have quite a bit of heaviness as we get her tucked back in by the amethyst. And maybe that'll calm her down and chill her out a little bit. The Ten of Wands. Now, you see that individual, they got that big bundle of sticks. Now, the good thing about this, it's a card of determination where it's like, you know what, I don't care how heavy it is. I don't care how difficult it is. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep pushing. The show goes on. And I appreciate that type of dedication and fight. So for a lot of you, maybe you're forcing yourself to do something, forcing yourself to act a certain way, where you just have a lot of determination to see something through, which I think could be really good. But the downside to the Ten of Wands is the heaviness. So whether it's mental heaviness, you might have a lot on your mind. Emotional heaviness, you might have something big weighing on your heart. This could even represent the physical. So make sure you're taking care of the physical body, physical vessel. For some cancers out there, you might be holding a lot of tension in the neck, back, and spine. So you might need a little rub down when this is here. So again, Ten of Wands could be a lot of determination, but at the same time, it can be a potential problem or situation that we want to look at further. Now, getting to the back end, we have a much softer, subtler energy. Whereas the fire itself is all up in our face, right? That very intense. We have the High Priestess. Now, I did say classically this card does get tied in with Pisces, but me personally as a reader, I connect it to all the water signs. So Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. She is the matron of psychics, intuitives, and tarot readers. And everyone knows cancers are very much in tune with the subtle energies, the hidden energies, the unseen energies. So when she shows up, I have to say your intuition and your empathy could be skyrocketing when she is here. Now, since it is one of your power cards, the clarifier could tell us something that's coming towards you. And aside from the dream state, psychic stuff, and all the other things we covered, she is a huge card of mystery. Now, that could be positive, but at the same time, it could also be a challenge with her. Notice she has a volume of sacred law in her lap. So she holds a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, but she's not talking about it. She's very hush hush. So the High Priestess could be secretive. She could represent the unknown, the surprising, the unexpected. So for some of you, maybe there's something where it's like, I don't know how this is going to go, and it's really starting to weigh on me. There's a lot of ways that this can really manifest itself. But normally for a Cancer reading, the High Priestess is really good because it could be you settling in to some sort of energy. But I want to dive deeper on all of it, my friends. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, Let's get a good shuffle here for you. Let's see, what do we got for Cancer? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the beautiful Queen of Wands. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Cancer, you can drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Queen of Wands time. Thank you. Okay. All right, so this is an energy that is moving forward with something. Notice the threes in reverse where it's like, fine, I'll do it myself. It's like one of those. Again, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but usually the Three of Wands is an energy that's like waiting around for something to happen or trying to manifest something in. So when I see it in reverse underneath the Queen of Wands, it's like, okay, whatever. If it happens, it happens. I don't care. It's like an energy that's moving forward, which I think could be good depending on what shows up here. Um, do I feel like this is a bad thing? I don't necessarily think so. I'm going to see how the energy goes forward. I would just say watch out for urges and impulses in this time. I'm not going to call like, oh, someone's going to make a mistake. I'm not saying that just yet. But I'm starting to get that little hint of energy that somebody might be a little impulsive, especially with all this fire energy, where it's like, yeah, screw it, not even going to think about it. I'm just doing it. I'm not waiting. I'm going to do it. So there could be a lot of urges and impulses for a lot of things. So whether it's work, personal relationships, or otherwise, I'm just getting tons of impulses to act as opposed to wait around. So we're going to keep moving. We're going to see what the Ten of Wands has. I feel like that's the only caution here. So usually, in my experience, Cancers take their time, very considerate about how things are going to turn out if they do something. And again, this could be somebody else, right? It doesn't even have to be you. Let's move in on the Ten of Wands. There could be somebody with a little hint of impulsivity. So let's see what's going on with the 10. I really want to get to the High Priestess as well. So why is the 10 of Wands here? Thank you. Something being more difficult than initially perceived. See, that's why I think this energy here on the front end, I think that's why there should be a caution or a little bit of a warning, because there could be something that is more difficult than one might think. When I see the Two of Swords in reverse, this is another card of mystery, where it's like, okay, well, from the outside looking in, something might seem like you want it. It might seem like it's easy, but when you actually get into it, it's like, oh, what did I do? Or what did I just bite off? It's like, to me, it's like someone bites off more than they can chew potentially. Now again, there is this willpower, there is this determination that pushes things through. When I see this, aside from what I already said, this could also represent surprising problems popping up, uh, or unexpected problems, unforeseen circumstances. So again, just anything you're dealing with in this time, anything, any person, any situation, I think it's just very important to measure the pros and the cons and think before you act, because then you'd be much better prepared for whatever this energy here is in the center. Now, usually the Two of Swords, yes, it can represent indecision and confusion. It's a huge mystery card. So when I see it in reverse, to me, it's like someone just taking the plunge with something, or just diving in, just like we saw here in the front. But with the Ten of Wands, it's like, okay, this isn't as easy as it looks. So we're just going to keep moving. So watch out for those little curveballs from the universe. Something might be more difficult than initially expected. There could be surprising or unexpected problems too. But let's keep going. I don't feel like it tanks the reading per se, because we still have your power card here on the back. Let's see what the High Priestess has. Then we'll do a quick recap. It's just super important to be measured in your actions and reactions. That's how it feels to me this week. So why is the High Priestess here? Thank you. Okay. I think this is a good thing. So we have Judgment in the upright underneath the High Priestess, where it's like, hey, you don't have to do anything because the energy is going to resolve itself one way or another. I know that's like super specific. I feel like I'm doing a personal here. But remember how I saw this energy in the front getting antsy and just saying, no, I'm going to do it. There's like this impulse control. And then it's like taking the hard road. Whereas like this energy here on the back end is like, okay, well, you could actually not do anything and just let the energy do what it's going to do, or let the energy come to you. That's how the energy is absolutely showing up to me. Now, Judgment could literally be judgment. facts. So, like when I see it with the high priestess, this could tell us, especially with the situation we have here in the center, that you might not have all the information or facts with the situation you're dealing with. Where it's like, okay, well, you can't make a full judgment on something because you don't have all the information just yet. You will, when this is in the upright, you will have that information, just maybe not yet. But this is a huge action card. And when I see it under her, remember, very shadowy, quiet, hush hush, someone not saying what they're going to do. But to me, it feels like, all right, well, you could either do this, you could jump in, you could take the hard road, or you just wait a second and see how it goes. Either way, it's moving to the same destination. That's how it feels. And I feel like I've seen this for another sign in recent weeks where it's like, okay, you could take the easy road or you could take the hard road. Either way, it's going to the same destination. Okay, so like you could put in a lot of effort and just get impatient, or you could just let it flow. So let's go through, and yeah, this is also a card of things popping back up to. Let's go through and do a quick recap, then we'll get into the shadows. So very intriguing this week. I think a lot of you, this energy could really work for you. But if you kindly look in the box, position number one, we have the Queen of Wands with the Three of Wands in reverse underneath it. And especially with the fire, this does feel impulsive. You're losing patience potentially with something, saying, screw it, I'm going to do it. It's like one of those vibes where it's like, you know what, I'm just going to act, done waiting, done thinking. I'm just going to do something. So watch out for impulse control in this time, especially if there's certain things that you're trying to refrain from. Moving to the middle, we have the Ten of Wands with the Two of Swords in reverse. Yeah, there could be, surprising, unexpected problems that pop up due to that. Or this could be someone biting off more than they can chew, where it's like, all right, that was more difficult than I thought it would be. Someone acting preemptively and taking the hard road. Then we get to the back end. We have the High Priestess with Judgment in the upright. There could be a situation where there might be more information to come. So you might not have all the puzzle pieces just yet. There could be some missing pieces of information. But aside from that, when I see this together, it's like this is the easy road. So it's like, okay, well, you could push something, you could force it, you could make action, or you could not and just still get to the same destination. That's just how it feels. So I always go with the flow state. So just do with that what you will. Please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for Cancer. What do we got? And yes, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this going here. Maybe we'll get one of those missing puzzle pieces, hopefully. All right, there we go. Thank you. All right, so there's good energy showing up in the shadows, that's for sure. So we have the Six of Wands, which is one of my favorite cards. It's a card of complete and total victory and triumph. Now, I'm not going to say this is all good because this card does have a shadow side as well. But the fact that I do see it in the shadows, it's like something might turn out better than you think. So I am against forcing something. I'm pretty firmly against it at this point, especially with this in the shadows. But a thing with the Six of Wands, sometimes it could be a little arrogant, right? Like, so if you have dealings with a person that is never wrong, they can never admit wrong, or there's just an energy here where it's a hyper inflated ego. Maybe you're dealing with a situation where it's due to someone's ego, right? Like it could be any number of things. But I do think for a lot of you, there is good outcomes to be had. Just watch out for people with that overinflated sense of self, if that makes sense. So we're just going to put that down right there, my good friends. I mean, it's a great card for getting attention. But we're going to let them chill. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. The November subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation and you'd like to have a little chat with me, you can book a personal reading with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. You'll see my digital calendar is open for the month of November. They're filling up pretty quick, so if you'd like to have a chat, come over and see me. But for the November subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of a lovely deck. It's fairly new. It's called Tarot of the Woodland Wardens. It has a whole bunch of fluffy critters. It's really adorable. I think everyone would like it. So if you like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, since it is November, what are you most grateful for right now? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.